Look at verse 12. The sixth angel poured out his bowl on the great river Euphrates, and its river was dried up to prepare the way for the kings from the east. So now the kings are coming to make war against Christ and his kingdom. And the sixth bowl here, I tend to think, is leading us to this final confrontation at the end of history, where battle lines are drawn. And it's here that many people have opinions about this passage. So futurists think that these kings of the east literally will come from east of Jerusalem, from a country maybe like China, marching on Jerusalem. Preterists think this is the judgment of the end of the Roman Empire. Idealists also see this event as occurring at the end of history. Now, there actually is some historical background for this verse. The Romans in the first century actually feared the Parthian Empire. You can see that map on the screen. They would have invaded from the east. And the region of Parthia is actually modern-day northern Iran. One of the kings rumored to come was Nero. Do you remember him? After his suicide in 68 AD, it was believed that Nero did not really die, or that he would be resurrected, and he would return to lead an invasion of Rome. This was called the Nero redivivus myth. And the Euphrates River was actually a barrier to the invading armies. And so if the river dried up, it would pave the way for this invasion. Now, whatever view you take, the sixth bowl, I think, shows us that the beast and his followers will not go quietly. God's wrath provokes a response now from the dragon and the beasts in verse 13. John writes, "And I saw, coming out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet, 3 unclean spirits like frogs. For they're demonic spirits, performing signs, who go abroad to the kings of the world to assemble them for battle on the great day of God the Almighty." So the dragon, Satan, whom we met back in Revelation 12, he knows his time is short, and now it's time to move. It's time to attack. And so he unleashes scores of demons to go gather people who worship the beast for this final battle, these demons who hate Christ and his followers. Now notice these spirits are described as frogs. And this, of course, again, is another allusion to the Exodus plagues. But when you think about frogs, who do you picture? Maybe Kermit the Frog? Somebody else like him? He's so kind, he's so joyful. He wants you to sing with him and dance around and eat a cookie. But imagine if Kermit right here turned into a demonic frog, right? Kind of like that. He's leaping in the air. He's trying to attack you with his tongue. He's acting crazy. What would you do if a demonic frog tried to turn you away from Jesus? The frogs are coming for you, my friends. You got to watch out. Watch out for the frogs. And notice their tactics. It's to perform signs, which may be a reference to their ability to deceive kings with false facts and assumptions. These demons want you to believe a false anti-Christian worldview so that you rebel against Christ. Now, who might some 21st century frogs be? Well, they could be social media influencers pushing an anti-Christian agenda. You have to be careful. The frogs, they might live on places like TikTok. Well, there's some people attempting to reach that space. There's many pushing anti-Christian worldviews to gain followers. We have to be discerning, church. Don't be influenced out of the kingdom. You got to watch out for the frogs because they deceive even the rulers of the world. Church, you have to understand, demons are hard at work constructing a plausibility structure that will convince people to go to war against God. They accomplish this through false teachers, through the media, through entertainment, through so many other things. Are you believing the lies of the world and the devil? Because anything that keeps you from Christ is false. We have to repent of it. Because the battle lines will be drawn. In fact, that whole scene reminds me of that final battle in the movie Avengers Endgame, where Captain America is standing alongside the evil Thanos and his armies assembled for battle. Captain America's over on one side, he's by himself, he's prepared to fight against this huge army, and it's in that moment of need that all the Avengers then assemble to go to war against the forces of darkness. At the end of time, something like that will happen. But have you ever been there? Does it feel like the forces of darkness are ever coming against you? When the lies are coming at you, now or in the future, will you hold the line and stand for Christ? Because like the Avengers assembling, one day Jesus will come with his army on his white horse. And we actually catch a glimpse of this in verse 15. Jesus now speaks, and he says, "Behold, I am coming. like a thief. Blessed is the one who stays awake, keeping his garments on, that he may not go about naked and be exposed, the one who is staying true to Jesus. And they assembled them at the place that in Hebrew is called Armageddon. So this is what Jesus calls the church to. He says, don't give up, hold the line, I'm coming, I'm coming, I'm coming. And when I do, Armageddon's actually going to be a short battle. Now, this describes the battle that's coming in chapter 19 that we'll come to at the beginning of Advent. We'll discuss this more when we get to that passage, but I just will note here that Armageddon is actually pretty difficult to translate. So some scholars think that word is referring to the mountain of Megiddo. The problem with that is that Megiddo is a plain, it's not a mountain. Others suggest that the name is symbolic and it's used for effect. It points to this great battle between Antichrist and Messiah rather than a physical place. But in either case, most people believe there will be a future battle where Jesus returns to defeat the forces of darkness once and for all.